displace that atmosphere. When you look at the first law of thermodynamics, the change in internal energy is equal to the heat added to the system and the work. Minus or plus, doesn't really matter. So let's replace that work with PV work, minus PdV. We can rearrange the equation to show that the heat that we supply to the system is equal to the change in internal energy plus the pressure volume work that we did. And I'd like to highlight that the importance here is that the pressure is quasi-static and reversible. I'll link a video on this topic alone. I don't have enough time to cover everything for this part. What's important to point out is the heat does two things here. Number one, it increases the internal energy. Makes sense. And number two, it expands the system against the surrounding pressure. So under the condition of constant pressure, delta H is equal to Q plus W. There is a really nice derivation in Schroeder's textbook that I want to cover that kind of explains this a little bit better. It's a little bit of maths, but not too crazy. So here's our equation we start with. Enthalpy is equal to the internal energy plus pressure times volume. So in this case, let's hold pressure constant. Now this is a very typical thing in our system. If we're working in a lab and we're doing something in an open system, pressure is going to be generally constant. This is a very natural phenomenon. We're not doing something crazy here. In our system, a lot of things can change. Our enthalpy can change, our internal energy can change, and our volume can change. So we're going to keep track of that. Pressure doesn't change, it's constant. So we've just rearranged a couple of things here to make it look nice. Would you look at that? We get U plus PV. That's just the first equation, so we can sub in enthalpy here. The two H's will then cancel, and so we have a very interesting derivation. The change in enthalpy is equal to the change in internal energy plus pressure times the change in volume at constant pressure. The first law of thermodynamics states that the change of internal energy is equal to heat plus the work. But what kind of work? Well, there's all types of work. You could do electrical, you can do compression expansion work, which is really important. Let's just kind of separate them. There's a reason why we want to make them two separate phenomena. So we have the compression expansion work and we have, well, other work. Could be electrical, could be mechanical, God knows what else. Sub in these two equations together. But you look at that, have a nice, neat equation. The change in enthalpy of our system is equal to the heat supplied to the system and any other work. We're excluding all the expansion and compression-based work. That's really interesting. This means that the change in enthalpy is only caused by the heat supplied to the system and due to any other work outside of compression expansion work. That is why the symbol for enthalpy is H. I believe the lore is that Gibbs gave it the phrase. I have it written down. It was originally defined as the heat function for constant pressure, H for heat. The reason why this equation is so useful in the end. In chemistry, enthalpy is also measured in a very similar way. You will have enthalpy values for certain reactions, ionizations, and so on and so forth. They use it for everything. Delta H is equal to the enthalpy of the products minus the enthalpy of the reactants. They'll jump in the reaction. As chemists are usually mixing different chemicals together, it's in an open atmosphere, the pressure is constant. It's actually quite easy to measure the change in enthalpy. It's very difficult to measure the total enthalpy, but the change is one of the easiest things to do. There's a lot more things to explore with enthalpy, and I hope to bring it up in future videos. But this is a very nice, short overview. And thank you to Bambi for featuring in my video. I was inspired to do this video literally because of the magic rabbit example in Schroeder's Introduction to Thermal Physics textbook. Hello. Hello, hello. Happy Saturday. There was a pause. It was a small pause. Let's be clear. It was the tiniest pause.
Welcome to Rivendell,
Mr. Anderson. Hello, John. Hello, Adam, Saribot, Mata, Tarek, Tynek, Conrad, Dan, DLCS. Welcome in. Lent. Privet. Welcome in. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. How are you getting on? Anyone have anything exciting? Exciting news? Any drama? Any non-drama but still exciting news? So many options out there. So little time. How are we keeping? I have an iced coffee, in case you're hearing interesting stuff. Harry, there were like 5 people in here before you. Shameful. Shameful. 5 people made it into this chat before you did. Despicable. Your tardiness will not be withstood. I received my supernatural stickers that I ordered. All right, we'll take it, pigeons. We'll take it. I only tease. I hope you're keeping well, Harry. We'll do a bit of a stretch this way. Only slightly exciting, but got into uni to study electrical. I think that goes for some celebrations. Do we have like a celebration? We should have a celebration sound alert. Where's my celebration? I don't have a celebration. Let's pretend this is a celebration for you. For getting into college. Going in for electrical and electronic engineering. There we go. That's my applause for you. Hi Harold, how are you keeping? That is the way we celebrate. I was hoping you'd choose. Yeah, we should. Good news, everyone. We should definitely have a sound alert for that. There we go. We have a sound alert for good news. That should have been half. Well, I hope you brought a good book with you, John, during those trips. And a win for Adam. Absolutely. Hi, Timahu. Welcome in, everyone. You guys are having a wonderful Saturday. I said it twice already. What is wrong with me? I don't know what day it is. This is the problem when you're a teacher and you're working during the summer. Or you're not working during the summer. Take the piss out of this week, you know. It's like Christmas. You know, you don't know what day it is between Christmas and New Year. You don't know what day of the week it is. Same thing. Same thing. Hiya, Hacks. How you keeping? You had enough electrolytes? I don't know. I had a bit of water, 2 cups of coffee, a Caesar salad, and some tortilla chips. There's some salt on tortilla chips. That counts, right? Surely that's enough. What more could my body want? If my body wants any more, I think it's getting a bit spoiled. You don't want to spoil your body either, you know? Otherwise, it's going to have way too high of expectations from you. Can't have that. Sorry, a hiccup there. Not even a hiccup, it was like a mini burp, really. I was just thinking there, I was going to clean up a few of these wires here and resistors, but then I realized one of the things we're going to do is current loop theory today, just for a bit of fun, because that's what I'm going to be posting on social media next few days. But since we're doing that, I might actually prove it as well. Might be a cool thing to show. That not only is it true, oh, with current loop theory though, I would need 2 voltage sources. That's tough. Hi Jay, how you doing? You roasting? Are you getting cooked these days? Why does this smell like Teen Spirit in here? Does it? I don't know. I don't know what you're on about, Cavill. Bit of carbs in the corn chips. There is. I wish corn was more nutritious. Is it not, actually? Is corn not nutritious? I love corn on cob. With a bit of butter. Well, actually, not a bit of butter. With salt. Butter. Prove it. Physicists never prove anything. Are you? That is true. That is true. We don't have proofs in physics. We just have hypotheses, experimentation data, and theories. Maybe a couple of laws in the way. We don't really make laws anymore. Kind of old school. You've a cold. Oh my days, Jay. I hope you get better. Honestly, when you get a cold during winter, it feels... Not that it feels better. I know this sounds bad. But I genuinely feel like I suffer more with the flu when it's summer than when it's winter. I hope you get better soon. I'm so sorry to hear that, Jay. Absolutely. If you can't mod, don't even dare to. We appreciate any and all mods even being present here. You poor craters. I feel like this week has been very long, but I realized I just did a lot, you know? I kept busy this week, so I think that's a very, very good thing too. No audio today, but saying hi anyway. Well, hello there, Star. How do you do? Welcome in, welcome in. I visited some rural areas of Kerry and I got to see some sheep. And the sheep I saw, I was also playing Cult of the Lamb, so I tried to kidnap some of them for my cult. They didn't go willingly. Oh, jeez. Anortalism, Taslim. I don't even know how to answer that. I don't think I do. Yeah. Maybe I need to reflect more on myself about that. Is the sheep foster animal? No. And now there's a stream about loops. Yep, Tynek. It is going to be... The stream might be the end of us all. Ham Lamb, do you have photos of sheep? No, I don't. I didn't take any photos of them. They were just on the side of the road. Because, you know, we were driving through the mountains of County Kerry. And so there's a lot of mountainous sheep around there. But they do roam on the roads, so we had to be careful. Hey, Tetsu, 80 stream streak, let's go. 4 long shifts wiped me out this week. Well, we're glad you're around. You're here. Hopefully you have a lovely day off. Even if doing chores, I know like a lot of people complain about chores, but I'll say it carefully. I do mostly enjoy doing chores. I like the camity. Not even no, all right. Mundane. Yeah, I enjoy the mundaneness of it for sure. It is slightly larger than a bunny, yeah. Now, whatever thoughts I had of having a bunny again, I've tried to nip them. Anytime I'm thinking like, oh, I really want a bunny, I just remind myself what I had to go through with Bambi. And so I think we won't foster or adopt this year. Yeah, I think I need... It's not fair if I adopt a rabbit again when I'm still not over Bambi. So... I think it's only fair because, like, you'll always be comparing them and stuff. Maybe I'm looking into it too much, but I think it's better to fix yourself first. So that's what we're going to focus on. Hey, Gavitron, welcome in. Mundane conversations are definitely difficult for sure. For me, I struggle because not because like I feel like it's a waste of time. It's not any kind of pretentious aspect of it. More so, I replay conversations all the time and what I said and what I didn't do right, and did I make the person feel awkward, or did I fuck up what I said? And oh yeah, especially when like trivial conversations like how's the weather, how are you keeping, like the introductory kind of conversations. I suck at them and I really embarrass myself all the time with it. Oh, Renfield, Bambi passed away a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, I only had 2 streams since then, and it's been, yeah, they've been short streams because it's been hard to get back on the bandwagon. We're doing better. Like I said, I kept very busy this week. I think keeping busy is the recipe. Just offer coffee, it'll be fine. Oh, it's terrible. And then you stay up all night replaying the conversations that you had in your head and you're mortified. Oh. Because you said something stupid like, enjoy your meal, to the server who served your food. Oh. We'll never forget Freya, and they'll always compare a little sometimes. It's natural. That's fair, Valerius. I agree. I don't think I'll ever not compare it to Bambi. But Zier made the joke, and I'm so glad that other people made the joke. As you guys know, my childhood bunny was Thumper, and we had Bambi. So I think the running joke at the moment is I'm waiting for my flower. That's if we were to get a bunny and we had to name it, I think we know what name to go for. Although I always had this vision of having like loads of rabbits and naming them after scientists. Exactly, Harold. It's the routine that really killed it. You know, I would get up in the morning early. Bambi would be my alarm. She would have her zoomies. I would have her cups. You know, there was a routine always with Bambi, and that routine got disrupted. Hi, Rock Out. But it's okay. We're doing better. Each day, it's not that it hurts less. Rather, we try not to think of the images too often. That makes sense. Well, enough of that. Today, we have a few things planned. So I've cleaned up my stream a little bit. I'm loaning the 3D printer in the background to my dad. My dad is going crazy with 3D printing. And I visit my dad quite often these days. So I'll have a chance to help him out and work with some stuff. So fortunately, we have lost a 3D printer along our way. But really, we don't need two in one location. We can just split the workload between the two printers. I printed a really cool thing, actually. It was very good quality. Yeah, a little shelf thingy-mabobby. Nice nets in there. It's really nice. I really like it. Really, really well done. And it was a very nice slow print. So really, really appreciative of this. Don't know where to go. It could be makeup. It could be gift. There's a lot of ideas. I'm thinking about giving it as a gift. Regardless, it's very, very cute. It looks really cool. It's very, very nice. A few things. As I was cleaning up, I realized that I have a soldering thing. This is my soldering thing I got a long time ago. Solder fume extractor. Actually, you guys got it to me through Throne. So with that, it comes with a little extractor tinfoil thing. And I have a long tube from a Creality extractor. And so I might 3D print and design a conjunction, a thingy to join them together. That might be a really, really cool new project. And the other project I want to do is we actually need a thermometer in the house. Now, it doesn't cost a lot of money to buy a thermometer, but I thought, I'm literally the electronics person here. Like, why not build a thermometer? And I thought about using the infrared sensor so we could do two things. It could be a thermometer on the wall that will give a digital reading of the ambient temperature in the room. But also, wouldn't it be cool if you can go up to it and put your forehead up to it and get a instant reading of your body temperature as well? So we actually have that expensive infrared sensor that I used in the Tricorder. So I think that will be a next project. I think it'll be a cool thing to have in the kitchen. It's a useful thing.
That still only counts as one.
But yeah, we'll see. Perfect for organizing. Oh, I love those things. I've seen them. Yes. No hacks. It doesn't hold up. Although it does look like it a little bit. We can build it. We can build a casing. We can do loads. Hi, Anomalous Alien. Animals different from what is normally expected. Anomalous. It's just anomalous. Is that how you pronounce that word? Like anomaly. Welcome in, by the way. Yeah, so we need to fix our tricorder. I really, really hated the design I built for it, where I build it using a power. Where do I want to look? Power bank. It's just so clunky and so massive and so annoying. No, we're not going to do a laser because, have you met me? I'm absolutely going to shove that laser in my eye hacks. So we're not going to do it with the laser. But yes, an infrared temperature sensor. So it'll have ambient temperature and it'll also have targeted temperature as well, but without a laser, just for health and safety. In real life, it's probably a good thing to have, but I'm a Pega, so you know it's bad when tofu mentions health and safety. You know it's bad. So yes. Hi, Kevin. So one looks in trouble when getting oh, like a bold corner. Yes, that's a good idea. So yeah, we're going to redesign that tricorder a little bit today. I think that's what my plan is. I have the project here. We're going to test it to make sure it's still working. And then I'm going to try and design and build some stuff for it. Infrared is cool. I want an LED and an IR sensor module to copy. Yeah, I think your phone can catch infrared better than your eyes. Maybe I'm mistaken about this. This is why cameras are shit at catching purple, but might be able to catch the infrared. If you grab your TV controller and take a photo with it or like record it with the phone, you can see that infrared sensor lighting up when you're switching channels and stuff, even though our naked eye won't see it. However, cameras are really shit at catching really nice purple colors. And so because of that, it's like there's this, the camera's kind of like ever so slightly shifted into the infrared and away from the ultraviolet. Hey, Zilber. It's a good way to test the battery in the room. Yeah, I'm so sad I can never capture the beautiful color of vanadium-2 because with the naked eye, it is so purple. But I just can never capture it on camera. It doesn't look that great, unfortunately. But yeah, I couldn't do a loop current method analysis, but I think I can. As long as I have the power supply supplying, let's say, something like 6 volts, then maybe a battery providing 3.8 volts or something. We'll check it. But don't you have infrared forehead thermometers there? Yes, we do. Sorry, we just want to build it for the sake of building these old bones. So you're not wrong. We can buy these things. I mentioned it earlier that it's probably way better and way easier to buy it. But I have an extra infrared sensor and my whole shtick, my whole gimmick is I build stuff. So why not build it? I know it's probably cheaper to actually buy one, but I don't know. Why not? Why not? It might be a cool thing. Might be a cool project to share with the internets. This might be one of those projects as well where I could original completely 100% with the code. Because usually I copy and paste a lot of code or I learn from other people on YouTube. So I tend to copy a lot of stuff. And I feel bad posting my projects then on social media because it's like, none of my, like, not none of my, but some, if even most of my code was actually robbed, and I feel bad sharing it like it's my own. Can you make it display both Celsius and Kelvin? We'll probably display Celsius just for argument's sake, but it's really easy to code that. Yeah, it's just an extra line or two. What is a tricorder? It's nothing to do with electromagnetism, Hunter. It's a very nerdy thing from Star Trek. So this was my first model casing for it, but it's too bulky and I hate it. But yeah, this was the model for it. There will be 2 OLED screens here, and this was the PIR sensor, and this was the IR temperature sensor here. And so to fit everything in, we needed a power bank, but I have ordered something recently. Now, the question is where to find it. Do you know what the problem is of why I can't find things in my house, in my room? It's because I actually don't spend enough time in it. So I think we should stream more often. Are you a professional academic or more of a hobbyist? I am a lecturer and a researcher full-time at a university, yes. But I'm not a lecturer of robotics. I'm just a physicist. But the stuff that I do here is pure hobby. Well, some of it. It depends. There's a lot of crossover. What's the use of the tricorder? It's to detect if the presence of human life. Is to detect the presence of possible life. So the PIR sensor detects movement hidden in the walls, and the infrared sensor determines the temperature of the targeted body, comparative to the ambient temperature. So the idea behind it is that it can detect anything like lizard temperature all the way up to a bit higher. We checked a few blood temperatures of a few creatures. But yeah, it should cover everything from a lizard to a hot-blooded mammal. Is this the tofu cave? It is always the tofu cave, Future. Hi Zolzy, do you usually stream somewhere? I'm actually dual streaming at the moment on YouTube and on Twitch. I know that YouTube chat isn't here. It's actually quite hard to integrate it. I gave it a go earlier and I broke it. So I need to try it again, how to integrate YouTube chat. So if you guys don't see yourselves here, it's not because I'm excluding you. It's because I can't make things work. I'm kind of stupid. Maybe I should just have two separate chats. It'll be YouTube up here and Twitch here. So yes, but yeah, YouTube is pretty new. I only started streaming a couple of months ago. Hi Zier, how you doing? Yeah, it's mostly used as a medical device in Star Trek. Yeah. How challenging was it to get into academic research? What was the process like? So my research and my whole life, academic life, is just a series of unfortunate events, I like to call them. I'm actually, well, my bachelor's degree was in teaching. I'm a chemistry and physics teacher by trade, and then I decided that I wasn't enjoying it for a little bit. Turns out that wasn't true. I had a bad experience, but it is what it is. And I was just a very excellent student. I'm so amazing. But I was one of the top in the class. I think I was the top student in the class. And when there was funding, people sought out for me. You know, there's a whole thing of, oh, what student do you think will suit this research project? And people reach out to you. And that just kind of happened with me. I was very lucky that the opportunity landed on my lap. That's really it. It's not that interesting. Doesn't Twitch have an issue about including it? It used to. It changed recently. Max, you're absolutely right. If I were on the front page of Twitch, I can't do stream to YouTube. Yeah, but that changed recently. That's true, Tarek. I think that's a fair statement. Because ultimately, everything I learned in coding was via YouTube and other more prominent tech people online. And so even if I originally write the code, it's going to be based on the language that they taught me. So ultimately, nothing is ever original, right? I'm good, especially as I'm getting my work bonus this month. Congrats, dear. I'm delighted to hear that. A work bonus is nice. Work bonus is nice. Sleepychat.org. Well, what do you think, chat? Should we kick off the lesson? Are you guys interested in learning everything and anything about loop theory? Specifically current loop theory. So in the past, I've taught you a few ways of calculating current in a system. We would use Ohm's law. I really love Ohm's law. Ohm's law is just the bread and butter of everything. And we're basically going to be using Ohm's law again. However, it's something called loop current method or loop current theory. And the reason it's called like that is because circuits get complicated. There's going to be like a section there, a section there, a section. Current is going in this direction, in that direction, and it really is very difficult to keep track of everything. So this is just an analytical method to keep track of current specifically. We use voltage node theory to monitor to monitor voltage. I'm not a big fan of that analysis because it teaches bad habits, because it thinks about voltage at a point. It pisses me off. I know why it's there, but it pisses me off. So yes, we'll cover that in a bit. Fluence, thank you so much for the sub. 5 months in a row, let's feckin' go. Thank you so much for the support. Heck yeah, time for a lurk and listen and pretend I'm smart. Ambershy, you're too good. You're too nice. You're too nice. You're absolutely all smart enough for this, I promise. You have to love the username as well, Batch of Pigeons. I hope your streams are going well. I hope everything's well with you. Hey, my code is often very original. Not efficient, but original. Sorry, I'm not teasing you. I'm teasing myself, really. Yeah, maybe we'll do current loop analysis, and we might do one mathematical problems, and we'll even maybe do a demo. I think building something would be interesting, and we'll see how much we can get with the tricorder, because we have to grow our factory today. Our factory must grow. You remember that? We have a lot to do in Factorio today. Let me just grab my notebook. I have a few notes. Oh, there it is. I was looking for my notebook. It's actually over here. Pick you up, chat. Ready for some upsies? I think you're a bit crooked. Y'all a bit lopsided. Okay, let's clean up the board a bit. While I'm wiping the board, I might as well. Don't worry about it, but I'm going to run some ads just to get rid of them. This looks scary, I promise. We will learn this today. Today, we will learn. Bad. Bring up the whiteboard a bit closer to you. Get closer to me. Good now. Hey Fifik, hello, welcome in. We all in detention, loop theory time. Yes, really secretly, this is all just punishment. You're all getting punished right now. That's what's going on here. You thought you were out of this. You thought you were getting away from this chat. Alas. Alas. Okay. So, just a quick kind of, maybe not necessarily revision, but quick, well, yeah, say it's revision. So a quick thing to mention is there's two ideas. Now, it all comes back down to Ohm's law, and I'm still perplexed as to people, you know, asking me to do many videos on Kirchhoff's laws. And honestly, it's if you understand Ohm's law, fundamentally, Kirchhoff's law is just an application of it. And not that it shouldn't be too confusing, but I guess if you're an electrical engineering student, you might approach this and it might be a confusing thing and you might learn it off. If you approach this from a physics angle, it's kind of intuitive. It's actually quite natural. So Kirchhoff's voltage law basically says that, you know, when you supply 5 volts to your system, let's say, all that voltage has to be dropped across the components. So you couldn't have a total voltage of 20 in your system when you're only supplying 5. That just disobeys the laws of physics. One of the laws of physics is, well, the first thermodynamic law. Energy cannot be created or destroyed. So we can't be creating energy out of nowhere. The same idea applies to current. Kirchhoff's current law. The pronunciation that I tend to try and say is Kirchhoff. I don't know how off I am from the actual pronunciation of his name. It turns out there's a debate about how his name is pronounced, even in Central Europe in that sense. But I tend to say Kirchhoff because that's what the English-speaking world tends to be more familiar with. It's way more gentle than the versions I've heard. Yeah, there's some strong sounding versions out there for sure. Anyways, the current law says that the total current has to be the same, or how should I say it? That if the current branches off, when it comes back together, it has to add up together again. So the idea is if you allow current to be passed in one branch and another, when they come join back together, the currents unite together. Is that a very proper factual definition of Kirchhoff's or current or voltage law? No, but it's just a concept or an idea just to keep track of. Now, obviously, Ohm's law is that voltage is equal to your resistance times your current. I am not going to go revising that. That is something that you guys just need to be partially, spatially aware of. So I'm going to skip straight on ahead. I'm going to talk about current theory. Now, current loop theory is really, really handy when things go bollocks. Or, what's the term I'm trying to say? Go upside down? Go unplanned? Basically, when you have more than one voltage source, it becomes very handy. So let's have a look at this. There's a light here, so I'm going to get rid of it. I'm going to draw my resistors as rectangles today. Controversial. Haywire. I like that one. What's handy about drawing diagrams with the rectangular blocks that you can actually write the value of the resistor in the rectangle. It does make it a lot. So just to cover some of the symbols, the rectangles are resistors. These guys are both power supplies, and V stands for voltage, S stands for source, 1 stands for 1. And same in this case, it's voltage source 2. That's a source of, well, voltage. And across each resistor, we're going to drop some voltage, and there's going to be current flowing through all of these parts. Now, there's going to be current flowing through this resistor because of this voltage supply. There's going to be current flowing in this resistor because of this voltage supply, and it's just messy. It's actually quite hard to solve this. So one of the methods that we use to solve current, let's say in this case we want to know what is the current going through resistor 2, is something called current loop theory. And you basically grab an enclosure. You look at an enclosure like this, and you, well, loop it. Loop 1, and loop 2. Doesn't seem too controversial, I hope. Are we in agreement? You might say, well, tofu, actually current is going in this way. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We've taken that this direction is going to be positive, and if the flow is in the opposite direction, our answer is just going to be negative. Classic physics again. So hopefully we're aware of that. Loop 2, woohoo! So first what we're going to do is I'm going to express two very generalized equations of this. So the first one is, well, let's look at loop 1. Let's look at what loop 1 is saying. Hi Lilith, it's very close, it's Witcher 3. So let's have a quick look at this story. First of all, there is let's look at the loop. So we're only going to take into consideration the shit that goes down in this system. So that's voltage source 1, R1 and R2. That's all we care about in loop 1. Are we in agreement? That's all that's going down so far. Are we happy with that part as well? So if we look at loop 1, this loop alone, the only things that we need to consider is voltage source 1, resistor 1 and resistor 2. They're the only ones that are in play with this loop. Okay, well let's look at resistor 1. According to this loop, the voltage across it is going to be resistance times current. Resistor 1 times current. Oh, we'll call it IA. Just to be specific where I got it from. Where did I get it? We're going to pretend that this is current A. This is current B. Was getting a coffee. Hi Brave, welcome in. Hello Daniel, welcome in everyone. I hope you guys are having a wonderful Saturday. I am so sorry all of you have chosen this stream and studying loop theory method analysis instead of, I don't know, having a life. We're awfully nerdy to be spending our Saturday like this. I feel bad for you. Yes, I for current. So the first voltage source in this guy is resistance times the current here. That's the voltage drop across this resistor. It's long. Next part. We have resistor 2. What's the current? Hi Yuli. Have a lot. Yuli and Tarek. You guys just shared the same brain cell for a moment there. Oh, let me know how the Odyssey goes. I've been tempted to watch it, but yeah, fortunately life got in the way. Now, if you look at the resistor, it actually experiences two currents, doesn't it? It's affected here on this side, but also on this side by loop theory too.
Thank you. We don't want any more visitors, well-wishers, or distant relations.
And what about very old friends?
Thank you so much, Yuli, for 35 months of support on this channel. Since the day you found me while I was playing, what was that horror space game? Oh, what was that space game again called? Not SpaceX. That's another horror. Dead Space. I remember. It was Dead Space. Exactly, Theo. So, current in this direction, IA. But hold on a second. Current is going in this direction for IA.
They call it a mine.
Current is going in this
A
direction
mine.
for I2. For IB. They're opposite, right? So if this is positive, this must be negative. And that must all equal to the voltage source system. Hey, DBA! Thank you so much, Bob, for the resub. 22 months, let's go! You're very, very kind for supporting this channel. Thank you. 22 months, that's almost 2 years. Almost 2 years. That's, frankly, quite a long time. Thermal loss be done. Yes, we definitely won't be keeping track of thermal loss here for sure. That's not our problem. That's That's a different department of science issue. We're not going to be talking about thermal loss here for sure. So this is the equation for loop 1. Let's multiply it out, shall we? And we can rearrange the equation. We can take out what's in common. We can take out IA. That becomes IA times R1 plus R2 minus R2IB. Now, why did I do it this way? You might say, well, Tofu, it's just the same equation. You just rearrange a couple of things and it's, it is what it is. Well, the idea is that I'm actually prepping to have an isolated term for IA and an isolated term for IB. Because remember, this theory is called current loop theory. What we're trying to do is we're trying to get a relationship of IA and IB. We don't know what either of those currents are, but we're going to ultimately get two equations with two unknowns. Because we're going to know the value of these resistors. So, if you guys remember, what do you do with two equations with two unknowns? Did you guys used to do any mathematical algebraic tricks to solve it? Any ideas? Any notions? Oh, this might be a bit more higher advanced pigeons than G. Exactly, Zir. Well, one of the things that you can do is you can actually do this using simultaneous equations. But it's going to be really tedious. You're going to find that, the values of the resistors are so complex. It's actually hard to do simultaneous equations all the time. So one of the things we're going to do is, okay, chat, don't run away. We're going to do both methods. We're going to use some algebra, subbing in, like Zir mentioned in the chat. Another thing we're going to do, don't leave the stream, please, please. We're going to do matrices. We're going to get the determinant of one of these currents. Okay, there we go. My viewership just dropped. I knew it. I knew you guys would leave me as soon as I said matrices. Oh, never mind. Someone actually followed. Lol. Isn't there another loop between the batteries through R1 and R? That's just a giant loop. No, in this case, there's just one. These are two separate enclosed loops. No, there isn't another loop. It's not like you're not trying to find more rectangles. As long as every loop is covered, every gap is covered, that is a loop in loop theory done. Okay. Never fear, they let the get refreshments. But we need matrices in 3D projection, and. Okay, so the next part is, let's look at loop theory 2, right? Well, let's have a look. I know I'm running out of space here, so I might just move up the equation, if that's okay with you guys. Just to make space. Let's look at loop 2 now, okay? So let's have a quick look at this. Is this case yet? Not really. It's a little bit more, not advanced, I would say, but we're skipping on afterwards. So after using Kirchhoff's current law and Kirchhoff's voltage laws, which is just applications of Ohm's law, we're doing something called current loop theory, which is another way of analyzing a circuit. So we're just deriving some equations first, and then we'll do some mathematical problems. After that, we're going to prove that it's true. Hey, Fickleside, welcome in, welcome in. So let's look at loop theory 2, okay? Let's have a quick look. So we're going to say R3, the resistor R3, what's the current going through it in this loop? Just IB. Nice and handy. R3 times IB. Direction. What else is there? Well, this resistor as well has current going through it, IB, but also it has current going through it from loop 1. So we have to keep track of that. And it's going in the opposite direction. If loop theory for this guy is positive this way, the current going this way is opposing it. So it has to be a minus sign. And it's equal to the voltage source. Hey, chocolate mints. Is this correct, chat? Did I write this equation correctly? That was a little bit of a lag or delay anyway, but also sometimes chat won't write for the answer for this one. Too nervous, too scared. No need to be nervous. I'm not scary. No, it isn't correct. It isn't. Obviously, I was hinting towards that. But what's the incorrect thing I did in this equation? We don't care about it because it's not involved in our loop theory in this loop. That voltage source has nothing to do with it. We still monitor the voltage drop by resistor times current, which is just Ohm's law. We still keep track of that voltage drop induced by voltage source 1 indirectly. It's hidden in IA here. Look at this loop direction. Choo, 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 choo. Which way is current flowing through in this voltage source? It's this way, isn't it? But the current loop is actually opposing it. It needs a minus sign. Nobody answer her. It's a trap. It's in the opposite direction. So let's multiply everything out. Okay, so we multiplied it out and let's rearrange everything. Let's put the IA term first, just to make it look similar to this guy. There we go. We have a finalized expression equation for voltage source 2. Isn't there a third loop of the whole loop that includes... Not in this case, not the way we're doing this. No, no, no. So we're only keeping track of enclosed loops. So this is one enclosed loop, and there's another loop. If there is no enclosure of a third loop in this case. We have two finalized equations for loop 1 and loop 2. This is really nice. We have, because in this case, we actually will know what the resistors are. We will know what the voltage sources are, but we don't know what the current is, right? There's an IA current and an IB current. So we have two equations and two unknowns. You can use simultaneous equations. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a mix of two things. I'm going to use matrices. We're going to get the determinant of one, and then we're going to use substitution, or a version of simultaneous equations, to solve for IB, let's say. So that is going to be the plan after we take a little quick break here. Will I put up a problem on the board and give you an opportunity to solve this? I don't know if you guys would be interested in that. It might be a bit, again, if you're revising this for the first time, haven't seen this in a while, it might be a bit too much. Oh no, you're going loopy. No, don't go loopy. But let me put up a problem on the board for you. And if anyone really wants to, they can solve this in their own time. What might be fun is if you guys use different methods, like principle of superposition is another method of solving this. Or that's voltages. But like there's all these different ways of solving these problems. So if you guys are interested in, feel free to do so. Might be a nice way to check our work. Let's say this is 6 volts, 5 volts. Let's say this is 70. This is 220. This is 720. Actually, I'm not sure. Does a 720 resistor exist? Current mesh method. Yeah, you can use that if you want. You can use principle of superposition. There's all these different methods of solving the current in this case. So use whatever method you want. It might be fun to check it, or try to use loop theory. So when we come back from the break, I'm actually going to solve this for you slowly, step by step. We have loop theory 1 and loop theory 2. Branch theory is another one that you can do as well. There's so many methods. Unlimited power. I think I should do a whole series on this. Different modes of analysis. That could be a whole YouTube video. Oh my god. Yeah, that would be a very long YouTube video. Different ways of calculate. Yeah, so there could be loop theory, branch theory, principle of superposition theorem. Node is voltage. Did I say branch? I did say branch. Thevenin is a different thing. So Thevenin is if we had a load and we wanted to measure what the load experiences based on multiple sources. That's a separate thing. That's a separate theorem. The Thevenin theorem is a solution for a particular situation, same as Norton's. The principle of superposition is the theory of calculating is it current or is it anything? Just a theory of calculating current. Oh no, it could be voltage as well, never mind. In a system of multiple voltage sources. Alright, I'll give you a moment to solve this if anyone is interested in trying and solving this. Basically your goal is, what is the current I1? What is the current I2? What is the current I3? Based on the diagram I've today. So if you want to challenge yourself, feel free, and I'll be back in a little while.
That still only counts as one.
Been hit by, you've been struck by a smooth criminal. Ba-da-bum, ba-da-bum-bum, ba-da-bum-bum, ba-da-bum-bum-bum-bum, ba-da-bum, ba-da-bum-bum, ba-da-bum-bum, ba-da-bum-bum-bum-bum, bum-ba-da-bum. Gonna try and pick up some other music so we don't get copyrighted accidentally. Boulder's Gate. There we go. Boulder's Gate music. Bonjour, comment ça va? How are you doing, Elizabeth? Alright, welcome back, everyone. I hope you guys are ready to do some, well, circular analysis theory. I was going to be a bit more excited about it, but yes, we're going to be doing a lot of maths here. I hope you guys are ready for this. You speak French? No. I studied French for a bit, but I don't know how to speak it at all. Except a couple of lines. Alright, so based on our previous equation, a derivation, we actually have two different equations. For loop 1, we have, I'll take my notebook just so I don't have to keep swapping the board around. We have R1 plus R2 all multiplied by IA minus R2 IB is equal to voltage 1. And in loop 2,
That still only counts as one.
where it still only counts as 1, we have minus R2IA plus R2 plus R3 IB minus voltage. Now that was the whole point of that previous whiteboard, is to get a bit of a derivation just to make this part a little bit easier. But there's nothing stopping you from doing what I did earlier. Apply it here, then sub in the numbers. Are you plant-based? As in like, wait, what? Do I eat plants? Oh, no. I practice vegetarianism. Is that the right term? Practice it? Yes. As of recent, again, back to a bit more vegetarian-based diet. But it's not the end of the world if I eat meat indirectly. Does that make sense? Does that answer your question? I'm not sure. Okay, loop 1, loop 2. There we go. Oh, that's a fair point. No, that is a fair point. This is R1, R2, R3. Based on the currents that I wrote out the currents accidentally, but forgot to write out the resistors. Hi, welcome in, Boto. Okay, so these are our equations that we have at the moment. What we can do is, well, we can sub in our numbers. So let's solve for loop 1 in this case. Let's sub in all our numbers. That becomes 470 plus 220 times IA minus 220 times IB, voltage source 1 volts. Okay. We can do a bit of sums, a bit of maths here. That becomes 690. There we go. We have one simultaneous equation cleaned up. I came up with 1.1 gigawatts. I had the R's the wrong way. I don't believe you. You lied to me. Goodness me, I'm burping so much, and because I had a Caesar salad for lunch, it just tastes like Caesar salad coming right up, back up every time. I think it's because I talk so much. I'm a yapper. Professional yapper. A yapper by trade. We're going to do the same thing for loop 2. Maybe we'll clean up this side of the board here. I mean, if you squint, it does look like a flux capacitor. I have a DeLorean model. I will show you what a flux capacitor looks like. I will. Remind me after this lesson. Okay. Nice. Just rotate those resistors a bit triangular. Yeah, that's true, that's true. Nothing stopping us from doing that. Give me a second for the whiteboard to dry a bit. My marker. I had so many black markers a second ago, and I put them all somewhere, and now I lost them. What's the generic thing that people tend to lose and misplace? I feel like I misplace everything in my life. Ugh, disasters. Disasters all around. Could be an interesting skit to try and solve the flux. But the thing is, I've looked at the flux capacitor. It's all BS, you know. It's there's nothing to solve, if that makes sense. It's really, really bad. But one of the series I'm reading, and I got back into it again recently, is the 3-Body Problem series. I'm on the second book. I'm in the middle of the second book at the moment. But even in the first book, they actually had really good concepts and ideas to talk about. I've been definitely inspired. Some ideas, like developing human computers and how that works. But that's a different topic. That's Boolean algebra and logic gates, which, you know, is electronics, but it's not the realm of electronics that we're doing today. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab this equation here, and we're just going to sub in all our values. I actually have it written in my notebook, so you can reference it in your own work, or you can just trust me, bro. I vote on the latter. Just trust me. Yeah, it's one of my pinned posts on Instagram. ! Socials. If you guys look at my Instagram profile, the Y delta conversion, the flux capacitor diagram, is actually the most viewed and most pinned post I ever had. It's my most viral post I think I ever did. And I think I got like 5,000 followers from that. And when you look at my profile on Instagram, it's actually quite interesting to think that I'm not saying 5,000 isn't a lot of followers, it is, but it does highlight that I've really built that account on just being consistently posting and never going really viral. Like, there wasn't a post that made me, blow up and get hundreds and thousands of followers. Nothing like that ever happened. So my account on that media, I guess here as well on Twitch, has just been a nagging, consistent, showing up person every day kind of thing. Perseverance, as they say. Okay, so that's the loop 2 equation. We just need to do some maths here. That's 940, I think. And so we have our 2 loop equations. Yeah, so the y to delta conversion are interchangeable. Exactly. You can convert back and forward. I don't know a scenario where you would want a delta most of the time. Usually it's a delta conversion to y. But you can reconstruct it the other way. Usually the application that I'm most familiar with, and I tend to do examples all the time because I love this guy, is Wheatstone Bridge. The Wheatstone Bridge is very, very useful in that case. Oh, is it used for 3-phase stuff? Okay, fair enough. I don't teach that too much at all. I only teach theory. Theory will only get you so far, as they say, but yeah. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get the determinant of that first equation. This guy. In fact, I'm actually going to write it out again for you, just so it helps you. You're all going to be freaking traumatized if you're not familiar with this. So comparing these two, some of you might have common sense and say, you can just do simultaneous equations and that's great. Sometimes it is a bit more complex because you're going to get weird numbers. That's fine. You can do it that way. I am I love simultaneous. I actually prefer it. But we're going to be a pain in the arse. We're going to be pretentious as feck on this straighten, alright? So get your snobby glasses and your pompous nose up. No? We're going to be very, very posh and pretentious. I'm going to get the determinant of IA of this guy. Here we go. $220. 940, all divided by determinant of 6. That must be plus 940. Sorry, I was mumbling to myself to make sure I got the numbers right. Oh, we don't care what that circuit does. We're just solving its problems. This is quickly changing from a circuit analysis lesson to psychological. It's looping, exactly. It's a loopy circuit. We're giving this poor circuit therapy, basically. Doing loop analysis theory on it. Why is any circuit ever used? Right. This is a little bit of a... Is it an algebra? I'm wondering. Where do you guys study matrices? I feel like it comes up everywhere. comes up in algebra, it comes up in vector analysis, it comes up in calculus, obviously. They're interlinked. But there's no module just called matrices, right? There's no mathematical module. It's just linear algebra, isn't it? Yeah, it's just algebra. Anyways, this is an algebraic method. You can do this for both IA and IB. So in the top division or graph, or the top story, we'll say, we have the third parameter 6 volts minus 220 minus 5 plus 940, all divided by 690 minus 220 here, minus 220 plus 900. We're solving for IA. So this part of the story divided by this part of the story. Why is that true, Tofu? Do not ask me. I'm not a mathematical teacher. I actually haven't covered mathematical theory in like 10 years at least. I really don't remember, and even if I were to revise my notes, I think I need to sit down and understand it. So don't ask me any questions on this, just accept that this is true. It's just a method I use, it's just a tool I use to solve problems in my life. So, what we're going to do is we're going to cross product these guys. So that's 6 multiplied by 940 minus 220 minus 5. Same thing for these guys. That's 690 multiplied by 900 minus 220 minus 2. Keep track of those minuses because they will be cancelling. So on and so forth. Oh, the lighting is really bad. Yeah, okay, you can see that a little bit better. For us, it was linear algebra, and for calculus, they just said you had it in linear algebra, didn't you? That's a fair analysis. And it turns out in linear algebra, the semester got too long, or the lecturer couldn't finish it in time, and so they didn't actually cover matrices. And they said, you'll cover that in calculus. And so when you got to calculus, the lecturer said, oh, you guys did matrices before, so we're just going to skip over it and go straight into this. I've had so many incidences of this happen in my life. Too many. Not exactly that one, but actually no, matrices were looked over. So my mathematical degree changed in a high school equivalent, that they pulled matrices out for the first time, and I was the first year victim of that. And when we went into university, because they assumed we knew it in high school, they were like, yeah, we've done this before. So, yeah. Exactly. Just do a Taylor expansion. What's a Taylor expansion? You're supposed to cover it in your previous module. Not covered in this module. We had a subject like that. Pretty much a lot of our math subjects were like that. But we actually had a lovely lecturer for thermodynamics. Always appreciate Ian for everything he did. He actually ran extra classes in the beginning of the semester, not the end of the semester when it's too late, the beginning of the semester, to help students who were struggling mathematically with skills, because they didn't have enough mathematics to solve thermodynamic problems. Now, did it go over our heads at the time too much? It did, but I really appreciated the sentiment in the end. That still only counts as one. And lecturers go that extra mile for their students. It really does go noticed. I was going to say, what's the opposite of unnoticed? Let's be serious. We never did Taylor expansion. Well, I used Taylor expansion a lot in thermal physics. I don't know if I used it much in mechanics, but I did use it a lot in thermal, yeah. And in solid state. Yeah, actually, Taylor expansion was very useful to me. Any of those expansion series, to be honest, were very, very handy. The proofs of them? Over my head. That's above my pay grade. But they were useful tools. For me, it was really, really simple. It was like, look, if you do it enough, it gets really, really, really close to 1. Or if you do it enough, it gets really, really close to 0. So we can approximate it and make our life easier. No, it's 220, 220. Both of them should be 220. Both of them. Minus 2. Oh, does that look like a 1? Sorry, that's just my handwriting.
Still only counts as 1.
That's just my handwriting. All good. So we get 7.56 by 10 to the minus 3. You can get rid of that 10 to the minus 3 and say milliamps. The current for IA, in this case, this guy here, this loop, the current that's going through this loop, is 7.56 milliamps. On the right side. Tony. Both of them are minus 220, minus 200. I think that's correct. Is that the one you're not? I found Via Victoria State for Physics. Hi, welcome in, mate. Yeah. Yes, I uploaded some videos on YouTube. Are you here from YouTube? Carry on. All right, no problem. Better safe than sorry. All right. So we can do the exact same thing to find the current in IB, doing the determinant, but I think switching it up is nice. It shows you that we can solve this using matrices, or we can solve this using substitution, simultaneous equation, and so on and so forth. I saw something that a physicist that introduced matrices into physics and learned it from math before that. I'm one of those victims. I never studied matrices until I studied physics, so I didn't cover it in mathematics. It was just what's the word? It was a fault in the system that the education curriculum changed at a fundamental level in schools, and the university that year didn't pick up on it. Even vector analysis got pulled as well, but I covered vector analysis because I did another mathematical subject called applied mathematics. Because I did that, I did a lot of vector analysis anyway. It was very sad though, because it meant that applied mathematics was basically advanced maths. And it pulls things like matrices, vector analysis from concepts that you would cover in maths and help you with these mathematical problems. But because it took it out, a lot of students struggled. It wasn't that beneficial. All right, so what we're going to do is we're actually going to grab that loop 2 equation and we're going to sub in the current for IA. Why not? We have it. So that becomes minus 220 times 7.56 milliamps, which is 10 to the minus 3, plus 5 equals minus 940 IB. I've also gone ahead and rearranged the equation because we're looking for IB. What is the loop current in this situation? We're going to multiply it out, add 5 to it. We should get minus 3.55 milliamps. That minus is super important, chat. Just because I got a minus doesn't mean I did something wrong. I know, shocker. But it actually shows that the direction of the current isn't in this way like we drew in our diagram. It's actually... Hey Dragon, welcome in, welcome in. We're almost done. Now here comes the question. I just solved for you guys the current going in IA. What was it again? 7.56. Here's the actual ultimate question, lab rats. What is the current going through resistor 1 What is the current going through resistor 2? What is the current going through? Dun, 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 dun! Interesting, isn't it? So, the first one is actually nice and straightforward. Let's look at the resistor here. Which currents are interacting it? Is it IA or IB or both? It's just IA. So what is IA? 7.56 milliamps. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Let's look at R2 now. Well, this is problematic. We have current going in this way, and then we have loop theory going in this way. So we have opposing currents in one direction. So we have, let's say we took this to be positive. That's going to be 7.56 amps. Minus loop A, which is IB. But it's minus comes a plus. So a total current is what? 11.11 milliamps. Did I do my mental maths correctly? And last but not least, I3, the current going through this is just the loop theory. Is it though? It is. I just wanted to double check the direction. Since I pointed I3 in this direction, loop theory is in the same direction, so we must keep track of that same minus sign. Hey, Encarna, thank you so much for giving your prime. Really, really appreciate it. Thank you. We're honored to have you from Victoria and sticking around for some maths and physics. That's pretty impressive. We will be playing Factorio later today. I don't have everything uploaded on YouTube either. My factory has grown significantly. And there we have it. Loop theory analysis method. It's actually one of the nicest ways of determining current in a system when shit gets really complicated. It doesn't look that nice now, especially when we have a simple circuit, and you could use so many other methods like you guys mentioned. You jumped in, mesh, node, superposition. There's all these ways of solving this, and you might think loop theory is BS. It's way longer than you need be, and obviously Tofu traumatized us by doing matrices as well. You don't have to do it. That was just another method of showing it to you. But the point I want to make is that when it hits the fan, quite literally, and it's actually one of the more like easiest method and like shut off your brain and solve it kind of methods that I recommend. But that's just my opinion. But there we go. There you have it, chat. This is Introduction to Loop Theory Method. Does anyone have any questions? Did we learn anything today? We drop you guys down. Instead of upsies, we're going downsies. Woo? I feel like it's harder to analyze when the circuit isn't drawn in and like it's not in circular, it's rectangular. I guess for each their own, I'm not sure. Exactly, everyone has a different brain for sure. So what I do is I teach my students basic Ohm's law solving, and I teach principle of superposition. And then I introduce all of these other ones, and then I say, it's up to you how you solve it. I don't give a fuck. I don't actually say that so boldly to my students. I try not to swear. I swear sometimes, but I try not to swear. And I tell them, you can use whatever method you want, whatever floats your boat, do that, okay? That being said, I do tend to stick to principle of superposition only because of the applications of it for AC. So I spend a lot of investment in Thevenin, Norton, and principle of superposition and maximum power transfer theorem, because the ideology of the way you solve these kits is going to be super applicable when you go into AC. So it's copy and pasta a bit. you apply the same analysis method with AC circuits. Can you do this with... I don't even know if you can do this with AC circuits. I'm not sure. Maybe you can. I'm not aware of if you can. Maybe you guys know better than I do. I see 2 batteries in the same circuit and I smell smoke. It is always scary applying 2 voltage sources. You have imaginary numbers and you have things things out of phase with one another. So I think it becomes a little bit more complex, but maybe I'm wrong. Yeah. I might be wrong about that. Don't take my word for it is what I'm going to say. Don't listen to me. I know nothing. Tofu knows nothing. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do some electronic stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to mess around with my tricorder device. So I have all the electronics built for it. But something I need to do again, I fucked this up, is we're going to test this. All the wires are connected. Going to test this. We're actually going to connect a new power supply to it and test it with the new power supply. Now the question is, where the fuck put all of it? Put it somewhere. Where did I put it? There we go. Got it. This is the stuff I bought. Ooh, almost fell over. Nice and handy. It has an on and off button. This is handy. I didn't even know this. Look at that. And check this out. Also got these bad boys. So they're used usually to clip onto something like this, a power pack like this. So you can just clip it on. Oh, I'm going to be careful just in case I short it. But you clip it on like this. Question is this actually handy? Because let's think, I need 5 volts to operate everything. Wait a second, this isn't right. This might be a different thing I bought. I basically need a USB-C converter. Did I fuck this up again? It does sound like me. You fuck things up all the time. Beam me up, Scotty! Oh, yo, I can't even open this. I can fit in, what are they, 1.5 volts each? So what, I can only have 3 volts? That's not going to power a nano. I mean, they're 2 in parallel. I definitely still need 5 volts. I don't think this is right. Because I need to power these nanos and they're only, yeah, they're both USB-C ports. This isn't the right thing I bought. Or it's just the wrong thing I'm thinking of. You know what I mean? I needed a USB. Yes, I did buy USB-C. So many things. That's just a pack. That's just this. So I basically need a little thing to connect to USB-C here. But I don't have that anywhere in this house. So I have 1.5. 3 volts, 6 volts. 6 volts is fine, I think. Nano should control the current flow. Specsavers, we're excited for your appointment. Yes, I'm checking my eyesight because I've noticed on the road until I'm close, I can't tell the difference between 80 kilometers per hour and 60 kilometers per hour. And as a learner driver, I feel like I need to know what the speed limit is and I need to see shit. So I was like, you know what? Let me go to Specsavers again. Even though I recently did a test with them and they said my eyesight's fine. I'm like, is it though? Is it though? And I tested it because like I had Nathan check with me. I was like, how soon do you see this number? And he sees it much sooner than I do. I'm like, I'm going to go in there and nag Specsavers. I'm like, I don't think you did my eyesight right. This is dangerous. It's all in your head. I'm still here. I'm just looking for stuff. I'm actually stupid. Don't answer that chat. I can. Sorry, got distracted. Did I really get the wrong thing? Yes, my eyesight's been dropping every 2 years. Yes. It has been. Let me check something really quick here. I'm going to go into my history. I'm going to see if I bought the thing that I think I bought. Now, I could have, like, it doesn't sound that unusual that I might have been a Pepega and ordered the completely wrong component. No, I just checked. I got the correct thing. A USB-C pigtail cable extension. I did order the correct thing. Where did I put it? Such a cool thing, gosh. No, I remember receiving it. I remember it in the packet just before I went to the wedding. Well, before Bambi got sick. I did get it just before. Because I need a connection, a USB-C connection that will connect to a battery pack. How else am I going to connect this to a battery? Now, there are ways of doing it, but not safe, uncrewed ways. Trying to be safe about it. I did get it. Yes. Check the tricorder box. No, there's nothing in the tricorder box. Nothing except shitty leftover bits and pieces. Oh, I hate myself. Why do I not put things away? Maybe that's the problem. That's the problem. I do put things away. I'm pretty sure you can power a nano by connecting the batteries to 5 volts and ground pins and not use the USB socket. And what about very old friends, Kip? What about very old friends? Maybe we could do that. Do you know what it was? Was it something like we discussed? Kip, I'll say a huge thank you again for the resub. 31 freaking month. Thank you. You came in at a moment of debate. Didn't we discuss this? And the conclusion was, because I don't have a control current, the USB-C controls the current, while the 5 volt and the ground, like the crude pin connections, have less control over it, auto control. Does that make sense? I feel like we had this discussion and there was a problem with this. Because all I'm connecting is crudely 6 volt battery. Be mindful, that's all I can do, by the way. I can put in 6 volts. I can't put in 5 volts. And because I need the system to control that, 5 volts need to be 5 volts and not a range. See, that there's the point already. We can only connect, like, we don't have 5 volt batteries. But we tested the USB-C port and it converted 6 volts to 5 volts. There is something in control. We are, yes. So I have 2 Arduino Nanos and I can control them with one little wire like this. There you go. And so what I wanted was to basically connect these two. Yeah, there was another idea. Nano has a regulator, contains 6 volts to V in might work. Standard chemical batteries typically output 1. Yeah, we know. But we don't have a combination of 1.5 volts to make the thing. We either do 4.5 or we do 6. And we tested the 6. The 6 volts works with the USB-C port. The V-in does take 6 volts, does it? We can check with the documentation, actually, yeah. Arduino. Yes, we already tried the power bank, but the power bank is too clunky. So we changed that around. This is why we're doing this, is because even though it works with the power bank, the thing is too clunky in the hand because it's meant to be a separate individual model. I'm gonna go through the documentation real quick. I know. Go 7. No. In pin. Not 5 volts, but V in pin. Yes, sorry. That's correct. V in. I don't think it works. Yeah, we can make a divider. That's like the last resort kind of plan, Chocolate Mints. You're right. We probably should, to be honest. Just annoying that we have to do that. The problem as well is that it needs to split between 2 nanos. So they're obviously going to be in parallel, so the voltage is the same. But, so one battery pack that's supplying 6 volts like this. Is this 6 volts? Yeah, this is 6 volts, for example. We're going to have to split it with 2 wires. So we'll get something like this connected to it. And, you know, we have 2 wires like this. And we'd have to solder it to another little breadboard, a soldering board. We'd have to split dual into the ends and the grounds. And they'll all... No, we tried doing stuff with the nanos. We gave up on it. There is a chance of it working. If there was a more competent person working on this project here, it might have been, but we gave up on that idea after weeks of streams on this. The solution was to get 2 nanos working in parallel instead because I couldn't optimize the code in any better way and couldn't optimize the system in any better way. I was being, yeah. We tried replacing, because we tried doing this with a Arduino R4, and it also wasn't optimized enough for it. We just decided to put 2 nanos instead. And they're nice and small as well, so they'll fit in the tricorder easily. It's inefficient, I get it, but not the goal here. Try and see. Science. That's true. If we blow it up, we blow it up. I mean, it'll be sad for all this work to go to waste, but we can try powering it with the VN. I mean, we can test it now very quickly. Just one of the systems. Okay, Nathan's home. We have a fire alarm. Anything happens, we have a fire extinguisher in the house. So we're gonna test something right now. This cable guy actually has 2 wires like this, as you can see. Okay, so we can actually insert it into one of the... Oh, we can't. Fucking, I need a female. I can just grab a female to male and just like touch them consensually. We can just like, because we're just testing if it even works, you know? If the idea works. Try and keep one of the wires different. Test your smoke detectors, exactly. Why not? Why not? Let's test our smoke detectors in the house. So what we're going to do is I'm going to unplug this. We're just going to test one OLED screen then. Cool. I'm going to bring you guys down so you guys can see this. The OLED screen turns on. Oops, dropping you guys. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find V in. Where is V in? There's V in. Oh, fuck me. I soldered V in.
One does not simply walk into Mordor.
One does not simply walk into Mordor when we are trying to find our V in. Then welcome in. Finally a decent streamer. Welcome in. How are you keeping? I see Command and Herder and ourselves are in common. That's great to see. Welcome in. What did you guys get up to? Deponia. Never heard of that before. Oh man, we're just trying to figure out what in the world I did here. So I use V in. I use V in pin in the nanos. Both of them already. Why? Shouldn't I be using the 5 volts? Can I just unplug them and put them in the 5 volts? I already used the ground though, that's a concern. Do I have another ground? I do. I have 2 grounds. Although we can make a common ground actually. I can just connect it back to this one and solder it. We're going to put this into 5 volts here. We're going to put this into 5 volts here. Actually, do you know what? After all of these connection changes, I feel like I need to plug this in just to make sure I'm okay. I asked this question to my... I know, you're absolutely right. I really shouldn't be stopping projects for weeks at a time. Like, we haven't touched this in almost a month. This is a terrible idea. If it's underpowered, it probably won't work as opposed to blowing up. That is true. Still trying to get the Doomsday device going. Exactly, Herder. Exactly. We're struggling by not supplying enough power at the moment. Welcome in, everyone. If you guys are here from the raid, you're coming in a moment of perplexity and worry as we're trying to just test the electronics for our tricorder. And the reason is because we're actually limited by the design, 3D print of the design. It looks really, really bad, basically, as a summary. Because it looks so bad, I've decided to find other ways of powering these 2 nanos to make it smaller, the power supply smaller, so we can build around it. And so one of the solutions is to power it with a 6-volt battery pack. Problem is, it's 6 volts. So what we're going to do now is, I think I have an extending cable. Go. Let's see. Okay, you guys won't see this. Oh no, it's USB-C. C. Connecting this. I have a power bank though. You've been watching me for 0 seconds, Corby. 0 seconds. Wait, my power bank is here. Go. Go. Okay, here we go, here we go. So we're just going to put it into the power bank. I'm just going to test if it still works. Because it did work with the power bank last time. Right. This guy works. Fine. This guy works. The OLED screen. Just fine. Alright. Our guys work. So this was our original model. We would use a power bank to power everything. The problem is that it's too clunky, it's too big. I hate the power bank, so that we want to remove. No, we didn't solder the VN. Sorry, we didn't solder it. We had it plugged in, but I changed the VN to 5 volts. All good, it still works. So now our VN is available. Our ground isn't. We were basically using VN as 5 volts. As a 5 volt source. Does that make sense? Oh, plug that. Plug. So what I want to test now is if we can power be in crudely, just at least 1 nano. That grounds for concern. Yeah, I don't like the idea of not having a common ground, to be honest. But hopefully it'll be okay. Watch me try in a second. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug this guy in here into one of these nanos. It's a V in. And we're going to put another one into ground. It's going to be a separate ground. Again, later we can solve this problem by soldering into a common ground. Later. But for now... Oh, I don't like this that we're having on ground. But look, it is what it is. Now, the most important thing is I don't mix up the positive and the negative. Shit. Which one is positive? Which one's negative in batteries? Positive. Am I right in saying that this guy is the positive one? Lick it and find out? Oh, I can test this. I can test this. Multimeter, yes, exactly. I can also just look at by this guy, but actually I can't see the red connection. We'll just check the multimeter. Oh no, my multimeter is fine. What? Oh! Wrong port. Your fears are ungrounded. No, but there is no wires in this case, legal. We're crudely sticking DuPont wires on top just to test it for a moment. Huh? Shit. I think these batteries are dead. Unless I'm stupid. You double check. My batteries are dead. Yeah, 6 volts. Okay. Batteries out. Nada. Yeah, the good news is I wasn't measuring current accidentally, or like trying to measure current, so I definitely didn't blow a fuse anyway. Well, I hope I didn't. 0.39 volts, pretty much dead. Ow. Get out of here. Dead. Great. Yeah, that added up correctly anyway. So yeah, it turns out my batteries are dead. It kind of makes sense. I did leave something connected to these over time. Obviously trying to use recycle, but we have a whole stock of batteries to use. So I'm going to put this in my little battery box. Don't throw these guys into the general rubbish bin. They need to be disposed of correctly. Find out now that it turns out that it was my voltmeter that's dead. These are new batteries. Let's see if they work now. 1.58. 1.58. 1.59. And 1.59. So we're actually going to about have 6.4 we're going to have about 6.4 volts actually. Which is a little bit worrisome, but it's okay. It'll be fine, chat. Hi, Sloth Tech. Welcome in, welcome in. These guys can be so dangerous with the wires flimsily connected to them. Always recommend to take it off. I will not say... Okay, I will say. I do speak from experience when I accidentally short. Harder, by the way, thank you so much for the 90 stream streak. Let's go! Have. There's a negative sign. Have 5.66 volts. Not bad. Not bad. So when you add them all together, it's not too terrible. So we're very close to 5 volts. So this is the negative, this is the positive. All right, here we go. Wait, which one was it again? I'm scared. Positive, positive. Okay, here we go. Okay, we're not powering any. Nothing is turning on. Right. Guess in. That solution didn't work. I have a feeling we did this. I really, really do have a feeling like I did this before. It'd be crazy though. Has been a good long time. Is it the long ones? I have some of those. The long ones, I think. But yeah, you're right. For compact reasons, it would be better for our design. So this is what I was thinking in future. I use these two guys. They connect to these power guys completely. And because this is powering using 5.6 volts, it's actually not far from the voltage needed to power these guys. And so what I wanted to get was something to, like, I ordered two little USB-C ports like this. We have a cable like this, and I soldered 2 points here. Okay, that's terrible English. What I meant was I get 2 open contact USB-C connections here, and I solder, there'll be a common little soldering point here. And there we go, that's how I would power it. I feel like that logic works. I had the right idea, I think. I know we're going backwards again with a lot of suggestions. All shops in the UK that sell batteries must legally have a bin. Oh, that's nice. I didn't realize that. I know that there are bins everywhere, but yeah, we use little for our battery bins. So my goal here is how to safely connect these two guys together. That makes sense what my goal is. This is where I'm stumped. Now, so many of you can say we can strip the wire, we can do this, we can do that. I do feel like the little connection I bought really solves everything. What is this connection called? It's not USB-C. What is this, chat? Let me show you. What are these called? Mini USB? Is that called mini USB? Okay, perfect. Thank you. We'll change it to mini USB basically. We'll use 2 mini USB ports here. Have a little thing. Then it'll be done. We're definitely going to have to stick these guys somehow into the 3D print. We can't have these accidentally shorting, you know? That could be bad. Although I do like the idea of just shoving everything in. I do think for safety, we should definitely be careful about shorting anything. If these two guys connect somehow accidentally, that could be very, very bad. Damn it. Hate being practical and safe. Safety is the reason why I can't turn into the Hulk. Yeah, little compartments or something in the 3D printer design might be the way to do compliment. That's something that we could do. Nice hydration. All right. Well, we'll pause there for now. A bit sad I didn't get anything going, but it is working. That still only counts as one. At least it's working. Could be worse. But it could not be worse. Chat, can I ask you, is anyone watching me in 1080? Because I have a thing saying 720p at the moment, horizontal, but I'm pretty sure I'm supposed to be streaming at 980. 720 is max. Shit. I did something to the settings. I do. I changed something recently. Base canvas, output scaled resolution. I did decrease my bitrate to 6000. Is that an issue, maybe? That's one of the things I changed. I'm streaming at 1080 on YouTube, though. What? Actually, no, it has to be the 6000 kbps because that's the only thing I changed. Yeah, it should be a higher quality than 720. Be streaming at 1080. I might increase my 1080. My bitrate. Yeah, so I was dropping frames earlier because I know I was streaming at 12,000 kbps, which was really high, way too high. 6K bitrate is what I run, and I don't stream at 2K. Don't think that will change. Okay, fair enough, Sloth. Thank you. Then why did it change that? Why am I streaming at 720? This is new, by the way. Turn on enhanced broadcasting. Obviously, it's too late now for this stream, but for next time. Well, I don't want to stream at 2K. Just 1080. I do need to change enhanced broadcasting. Oh. Yes, different channel. On my science channel. Harness. You're absolutely right, guys. I'm streaming. Yeah. I turned off enhanced broadcasting. There we go. That's what happened, I think. I didn't realize that enhanced broadcast would stop 1080. I thought that was the cap at my output stream. Oh no, I have enable enhanced broadcasting. No, it definitely managed it. I used to stream at 1080, but just like last week or a week ago, I changed the setting and suddenly
change something. I didn't even think I changed anything that much. I changed my bitrate down to 6,000 because I was doing unlimited bitrate and I was just dropping a few frames last time. I shouldn't have done that anyway. Everything was fine. It was just bad internet. But yeah, I'll play around with the settings. I'll try that maybe next week. Or next week, tomorrow. We'll fix that tomorrow. Obviously, I can't do anything about that today, unfortunately. So with that, you're doing the different quality settings all too. The bitrate means lower the best version of stream. That's fair. So I'll just shut off those two buttons again. We'll fix the stream for tomorrow. Sorry I'm being streamed at such a low quality, chat. Low quality tofu today. Tarek is my manager. Sent all the complaints to Tarek. he will deal with your complaints accordingly. Oh, I'm glad to hear that, Manan. I hope you enjoyed the Harsh video. We did a lot of that research live on stream. Alright, so what we can do is we can order a little electronic part that we need. I don't even know how to Google this. USB. Sorry, I'm making a face because I'm trying to think of like the words I'm looking for. I'm basically looking for a USB-C, a USB mini with two wires sticking out of it, a ground and a live. How do I Google that? You know what I mean? What's the words I'm looking for? Check my order history. Pigtail cable. Is it called a pigtail? Maybe it's a pigtail. USB. A pigtail. Oh wow, they're so long. The wires. But I found them anyway. That was the word. Pigtails, in case anyone else is confused about that term. No, that's micro USB. Micro and mini are two different things. This is the wrong one. It's mini USB that I'm using, right? Yeah, it doesn't seem to have mini USB. Mini USB pigtails. Type C. Type C. It's giving me the male part. I need the female part. Female part? Yeah, the female part. Oh gosh, why are there so many USB ports? Me and you, listen. No, I need the male part. What am I doing? Female, I need the male. Ay. God damn it, it's all USB, not USB mini. Nobody uses USB minis anymore, you know, it's quite outdated. Why do you do this to me, Nano? Why? Damn it, I can't find a link for it. don't think what I'm looking for is that controversial, is it? Is there something about a mini that's not just common ground and live? Is it like a lot more complex than I make it out to be? Something I don't know about, like it has 3 wires or something? Yeah, I'm struggling. You can post a link, yeah? Feel free, if you found something, let me know. $10 mini USB. Wait, mini USB-C. That's not mini. Oh my god. They tried to bamboozle me. Is it? Looks like it might be it. Yes, I found one. I think I did. I hope I did. It looks correct. Yes, mini. Okay, I found it. I found it. All good, team. We got this. Took a while, though. The fucking search was so terribly optimized. There's no such thing as mini. Yeah, I think they do it for clickbait, CJ. They, like, just shove all the words in there and hope for the best. I think that's basically what happens. Alright, I guess we can't finish this project until next weekend. I don't like the idea of working on too many projects at the same time because my life is just... Like, this is the problem. I put them on a back burner. But... there is something we can work on very briefly. So just a quick thing. Because of my 3D printing and soldering habits, I do need a ventilation system, you know? And Nathan built a little connector over there. Well, he didn't build it, he designed it. I needed to 3D print it. But a little connector into the vent. I need a whole system to connect into that vent. So, what we're going to do is I have this, and I have another elephant trunk, and I'm wondering, can we join these elephant trunks together, create a little extraction vent for me? You know what I mean? So we're basically working on health and safety today. I know, shocker. Tofu actually working on health and safety. What have you done to her? There's no need to rub it in, chat. There's absolutely no need to rub it in. So we're basically trying to vent out plastic and soldering vapor components, things, out of this room so that I can spend more time here safely. Ooh, it's quite malleable, as in like you can bend it a good bit, but also rigid in certain ways. It's pretty long. How long is this? What would we say, about 2 meters? I'd say this is about 2 meters. This might be actually enough if I can join it. Omraid, welcome in. Well, what in the Teletubby? Yeah, I know. So basically, I have this. And again, loads of people are going to jump in. But you can buy this, but you can buy that. Why buy anything? We can recycle. Another thing I got with Reality. And we might actually use this as the main elephant trunk. Because this guy is an actual vent for 3D printing. Shouldn't be, it's just USB-C with a different size plug. At 25 centimeters became 2 meters. I'm blown away. So this is a proper elephant trunk. But it's only about 1 meter, I'd say. Why do one manual task for 17 minutes and 30 hours failing to automate? Stop! I know, why buy an actual elephant trunk for your printer? Just try and build one yourself at home. So, the concept and the principle of what I'm trying to build is very basic. I just need to connect these 2 elephant trunks, hang them up from here where my 3D printers are, all the way up on the wall into the vent up here. Question is, oh, these are actually quite similar size. Are they long enough? 1 and 2. Can we design this in? So maybe I need to 3D print something. Little nozzle connector. Where they both suck. Attach. A little connection here. Even tape on the inside of this. Wonder if it's like you can take this tape off and it makes it sticky. They're roughly the same diameter. Definitely. Alright, so the first step is let's grab a ruler and measure the diameter of this one. There are different types of materials. That guy's like a tin foil. But this one is like... Imagine you've duct tape 2 duct tapes together, right? Back to back, or front to front, or back to front. You know what I mean? The 2 sticky sides together. And that's what that material feels like, you know? About the down out. Remember that? 8.3 centimeters. Hi, welcome in everyone. It's true, it's what we could just use duct tape. Honestly, you're absolutely right. We could use duct tape. There's absolutely no need for me to 3D print something. And I'm going to. About 0.3 centimeters. They're both the same size. Is this like a standardized size for an elephant trunk? I wonder if this is like, there's a standardization that I don't know about. Oh, let me get the other one. Oh, so you guys decided to pop into my stream today. Welcome, welcome. Don't mind me. And my elephant trunks. Done. So yeah, we have about 3 meters worth. Is that going to be enough? Need to do some measuring in the house. Tofu, there is no need to, but hear me out. Hi Tofu and chat, what's the build today? So we're looking at designing or building an elephant trunk with parts that I already have in the house, recycling these parts, and creating a 3D printing venting machine. So I already actually have a little part from Creality. It's a little trunk, but then I like my 3D printers over there, so I want to build a whole elephant trunk system. And maybe something that's movable, like an actual elephant trunk that you can move around, depending on if I'm doing like some crazy soldering projects as well. So that is the new project, to do that with recycled items. Because why buy stuff when we have stuff already? I get back to the keyboard and Tofu is eaten by duck snakes. Close enough. Hi Kahira, welcome in, welcome in. Although, I'm just wondering which one I should like make the main one. So here's the thing. We want to control the nozzle part, the fan part, right? This is the part that we want to connect, and it's going to move where we need it to move, right? The question is this. Do we want something that is super malleable and flexible, but it is very super malleable and flexible? Or do we want something that's more rigid and firm, but it's actually rigid and will stay, like, let's say we needed to put it down. There we go. It'll actually stay in that place. So which one do you think should be the end? Like the actual part that will have the vent? Here's another question. Oh, here's a bit of fluid mechanics chat. Should we dual vent? Like, in the point where it connects, have another second vent to help the other vent it out. Is that worthwhile? What do we think? Question. We should do some physics analysis on it. Okay. How can I analyze suction? What electronic component might... Oh my god. This is the creep scope I'm always worried about. All I wanted was an elephant trunk, and now thinking about designing an experiment for mechanics. Oh, we don't need to worry about vacuum. There is no vacuum in this. It's not a vacuum sealed at all. And it's not even really pressure. It's just a vent. So I don't think that's a concern. Important science and eco-friendly. Exactly. Not at the end point, at the midpoint. That's what I was thinking. To add a fan at the midpoint, not at the end point. Would you want a stiffer trunk to act as the input from your work so you have control? Exactly. But the endpoint, then we have to put a lot of work in to make sure that it stays simple. But we have a 3D printer. We will use it. There's definitely a lot of parts that we can do. Yeah, how do you guys measure airflow? What sensor do you use for airflow? I have a pressure sensor. That's not the same thing. Although, mid would be a vacuum on one side and pressure on. I don't understand. Two little fans. Oh. They both came with a fan. So I don't even need to buy the fan. So this is one fan. And this is the second fan. So I don't even have to buy the little fans. Whoa! Sorry, things are falling apart. So we do have the two fans already. It's not even about buying new components. It's about reusing what we have. Something Venturi. Something. And my vent just leads to the outside. It's just a hole. Wall, basically. MAF sensor for airflow, I think. Okay, yes, yeah, somebody... who else mentioned it? Brackus mentioned MAF as well, but that, like, super fancy. Ionometer. Two fans. Airflow will be... Exactly, I'm wondering. Maybe watch really dinky pollen fly through. I guess the only way to test it is by connecting these guys. I mean, this is the crudest way I can think of. Connect those guys, put the vent, the fan on one side, and put your hand on the other side and see if you feel the airflow. If you feel the airflow at even the tiniest bit, this will work. If there's no airflow, we have a concern. I think that's the only way I can think about crudely testing it. Makes sense in my head. But a lot of things make sense in my head and don't in real life. Put a candle at the end. Wait, I have a candle burning. We could definitely do that. Yeah. Alright, alright. Alright. So this is the project, I suppose, set up for tomorrow. And try and do some experiments for this. Okay, let me put my elephant trunks away for a minute. Exactly. Simplest ideas are the best ideas at times. Hopefully it is a straightforward idea. What's really nice about having the tinfoil guy at the end is that it actually also has a stand. So we can actually get even extra support. It's fan if we need to, which is kind of nice. It has a little clip-on thing as well to help it clip on the fan. Yeah, maybe we'll do this experiment tomorrow. What do you think, guys? Tomorrow is the elephant trunk experiment. We will also do the temperature sensor experiment, but that I hopefully will do after the tricorder. I just want to get the tricorder done. Kind of sick of it already. I like electronics. I don't like 3D print design and functionality. Like, sorry, the opposite. I love doing electronics when it comes to functionality. I hate the artistic take that you need to do afterwards. The artistic interpretation is the one definitely not happy with. There is not an artist bone in my body. Okay. Bursting to pee. Should I make a cup of tea? That's cool. I didn't realize legal. So that would be the sensor that we would actually place. But yeah, the candle one is good. I think the candle is good. So we have an actual candle. We'll set up the tubes tomorrow. The camera will need to be readjusted because there's no way I'm going to have room on the table. I think I'm going to have to do this all on the floor. So we'll take the whiteboard out and we might build everything on the floor and try and get the mic. I'll try and bring the mic down so you guys can hear me as well. We're going to be on the floor building things. Getting down, getting dirty, as they say. Actually, I don't know. But that's what I'm claiming they say. Sorry, I'm burping a lot. I mean, I meant a heat source, not an actual candle. Oh no, we're doing an actual candle. We're going to see if we can blow out the candle. Did someone mention incense as well? That you can see the flow of incense. Hey, thank you so much for the 26 bits. I hope you have a great day, Doc. Thank you, Bacon. I appreciate that. I hope you have even a better day. Today's actually a good day. I needed the positivity of the stream. Chat is very, very positive as always. In supporting my shenanigans. We failed at the tricorder today. We succeeded in doing circuit analysis theory. And we came up with a project. Now, this is a project that I already had in my mind, but we actually have an idea to work with tomorrow. So that's going to be something that we're going to do. It's for venting 3D printing and soldering vapor things. It's for fumes. It's to extract dangerous fumes from this room when I'm working here for a long period of time. And I know I only do PLA and I solder very rarely, but still, you know, it promotes health and safety, something, something. I'm a lecturer, something, something. Is look up to me. Blah de blah. Alright, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go make a cup of tea. Maybe have a little biscuit. Have some Jammy Dodgers or knock off little Jammy Dodgers. And when we come back, how do you guys feel about Factorio? I actually don't know what to do in Factorio. If I remember correctly, I don't know how to progress forward. I've done everything I can. We're just making the factory grow for the sake of letting the factory grow. I've completed the game, really, if you think about it objectively. We've optimized it to the best of our ability. There's nothing else left in the game, right, chat? Right. There's a lot to do still. Why, thank you, Tarek, for the suggestion. So I'm going to say goodbye to YouTube here. I'm going to take a quick break. And yeah, we're going to play some Factorio if you guys are willing to withstand some of my programming skills. Objective of the game is to accept to be happy in your life with what you have. We'll be there all day then, I see. Alright guys, quick break, pee and tea. We'll grab some pee, we'll grab some tea, and we'll be back